Hi and welcome back. You may want to have a block and a strap or a towel for today's class because we're going to do a few shoulder stretches. So if your shoulders are tighter, that could come in handy. Begin seated on your block. Find a comfortable seat. Rest your hands on your thighs. Close your eyes and go inward. So as you scan the inner body, notice in the inner sheath where you feel any strain or tension. So I do want you to sit up straight. Activate the muscles deep that will hold your spine upright, but see if you can let go of some of the tension around the periphery. Breathe down towards your pelvis. Fill the whole belly. Fill the whole circumference of the rib cage, working your way up. And let it out. One more conscious breath like this. Down towards your pelvis. Breathe into your middle. Fill up the sides, the back of the rib cage, all the way up to your armpits. And let it out. Then open your eyes, keeping your focus inward. Twist to your right. Twist to your left. Come back to center. Take your right arm up as you inhale. And as you exhale, crawl your left fingertips over to the side as you side bend, but sit down through your right hip. Breathe into your side body. Come back up and change sides. Raise your left arm. And as you exhale, crawl your fingers over. Breathe into your side body. Sit down through your left hip. Come back up. And come onto your hands and your knees. Tuck your buttocks under and then start to round your back, but work your way up your spine, up to the upper back, then up to the neck. And then see if you can go in reverse. So untuck the buttock, then arch through the lower back, middle back, upper back, head and neck last thing to move. Keep the head and neck, upper back into extension as you tuck the buttocks. Round the lower back, middle back, upper back, and neck. Keep that rounded as you arch the lower back, middle, upper, and then come into neutral. Now to warm up your wrists, start to make circles around the wrists. So we're going to take the shoulders forward, out to the side, and back. And then change the direction, just exploring the range of motion that feels okay on your wrists. Then step your left foot out to the side, and to warm up the hips as well as the inner leg, from here, slowly start to stretch your buttock back towards your heels, but keep your rib cage in and your spine stretched long instead of letting yourself collapse or round. Come forward again, press into your knuckles, resist that movement as you lean the shoulders forward, and then stretch back, but pretend like you're pulling the mat back towards your knee as you're stretching back. Go forward and resist with your knuckles gently, pressing away from the floor, or pressing down into the floor to resist, and slowly stretch back. And come back up, change positions. So right leg goes out to the side, and slowly take your hips back, keeping your core braced. And lean forward, pressing into the knuckles. Stretch back. Lean forward. And stretch back. Then release that. Set your forearms down onto the mat. Press your forearms down. Clasp your hands. And see that when you press your forearms down, you can lift your rib cage, but at the same time, spread across your collarbones. Then step your right leg back into a plank position. Then step the left leg back too. Now lift up in your middle, squeeze in on your core, and then slowly start to tap the hips down, and then lift back up. Lift your rib cage, your belly, scoop yourself back up, and then slowly lower yourself down. You can even let the knees drop first, then your pelvis, roll up through the spine into extension, and then like a wave, roll back up. Roll back down, and roll back up. Holding this forearm plank position for 10. Building heat in your core. Then lower your hips down, Sphinx pose. Turn your palms up, open up your chest. Turn your palms down, lower your chest to the ground. Stretch your arms all the way forward. Press the tops of your feet down. Now lift your right arm up without anything else in your body moving. And as you engage in the backs of the legs, lift your left leg up too. Change, left arm goes up an inch. And then raise the right. Change. Now try to lift simultaneously. Left arm, right leg. Right arm, left leg. Lower that. Bring your hands next to your ribs. And as you inhale, roll into lower cobra. Like there was a strap here at the middle of your rib cage, press down into the imaginary strap so that I can't pull it out to the side, and then back bend from your upper back. Lower your heart down, lift up into plank or press up on the hands and knees. If you lift into the plank, make it a plank as you press up instead of doing the worm. And then stretch back into downward facing dog. Holding your dog pose. Breathe through your nose. Walk your feet forward to the front of your mat. Put a little bend in your knees. Let your head drop. Then roll yourself up to stand. Roll your chest and your shoulders open. Spread your arms out to the side. Externally rotate and reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, find a flat back. Step your left leg back into a lunge. Inhale, come up onto your fingertips. Exhale, step back into a plank position. Inhale, elongate as you brace in your core. Exhale, lower down slowly. Inhale, come into cobra pose. Exhale, stretch back to dog. Inhale, raise your right leg up. Exhale, shift in a plank and pull your knee up. Now round your back as you push the floor down. Inhale, lower the knee. If it's too much on your upper body or your wrist, just drop your left knee for this part. Exhale, pull back up. Inhale, lower your right knee. Exhale, pull back up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, pull up. Step your foot up to your thumb. Inhale up onto your fingertips as you lengthen. Exhale, step your back leg forward and fold. Inhale, come all the way up, reach to your feet as you raise your arms. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, find a flat back. Exhale, step your right leg back into a lunge. Inhale to lengthen in the lunge. Exhale, step back into plank. Inhale, hold in your plank, elongate as you brace in your core. Exhale, lower down onto your belly. Inhale into cobra. Exhale, press into plank or up on the hands and knees. Stretch back into down dog. Inhale your left leg up. Exhale, shift into plank, pull your knee up and round your back. Inhale, lower the knee. Exhale, lift it up. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift. Step your foot up by your thumb. Inhale up onto your fingertips, lengthen. Exhale, step your back leg and fold. Inhale, come all the way up, raise your arms. Exhale, Samastiti. Inhale into chair pose. Bend your knees, sit your hips back. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, make a flat back. Exhale, fold deeper. Inhale into chair pose. Sit from your hips. Lift from your belly. Raise your arms. Exhale, sit deeper. Stretch your arms back at your side. Now press up like you're pressing into a wall or into something. And then as you inhale, come back up, raise your arms. Exhale, sit back deeper, press up, squeeze the muscles in your back. Inhale, raise your arms. This is just a trick to get you to hold chair longer and move your arms at the same time. Sit back, lift. Inhale up. Now press into your feet, keeping your arms up. Stand. And bring your hands to your heart, Samastiti. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, twist to your right, spread your arms. Inhale, back up. Exhale, twist to your left. Inhale, back up. Exhale, twist to your right. Inhale up. Exhale to your left. Inhale up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, flat back. Step back to plank. Inhale in your plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward dog. From down dog, look in between your hands. Step or hop to the front of your mat. Inhale, find a flat back. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, sit back into the chair again. Stand, Samastiti. Now press down through your left heel. As you press in your left heel, the body, when you go to bring your right leg up, your body's going to want to sink over to the right. So instead, engage the muscle in your left outer hip and then bring your right knee up. So this is a really important exercise to train the muscles in the outer hip to help with your spine health. If the muscles in the hip are healthy and mobile, it's going to help your lumbar spine. If the muscles turn off and you let your hip sink to the side when you go to bring your knee up, you're going to run into a lot of problems with your lower back over time with lack of stability. Now from here, see if you can raise your arms up without letting your body lean back. Take your chest forward and up over your left ankle. Bring your arms back down and your leg down. Push through your right foot. Bring your left knee up. Feel the muscles in your right outer hip supporting you. Press even into your right foot. Now raise your arms up without leaning back. Stand tall up over your right ankle. Bring your arms back down, leg back down. Press into your left foot. Bring your right knee up. Raise your arms up. Now from here, let's see if we go into a twist. So a little more complex. Let's spread the arms and twist to the right. Bring your left hand to your right outer knee. Come back up, raise your arms up. Lower your leg down, arms down. Press into your right heel. Bring your left knee up. Arms up. Then twist. Come back up with the arms. Bring your leg down. Now we're going to go back into the left foot. Back into the right foot as you bring your left knee up. Even this is confusing me. Raise your arms. Now from here, bring your hands to your heart. Bend your right knee. And I want you to tip from your pelvis and lean forward halfway, towards halfway, maintaining a flat back. And then see if you can lift this left leg behind you. Keep your right knee bent. Then step your leg back and we'll come into crescent lunge. Now because of the tension in the right inner thigh, your right knee is going to want to cave into the midline. Instead, grip the muscles in the outer buttock and stretch from your right inner leg towards your knee. Now bring your right hand to your hip. Hook your left elbow to your right knee. Bend your back knee a little bit at first. Feel your lower back can lengthen. Now grow your back leg from the length of your lower back. Join your palms together if you're steady enough to. Now bring your hands down to the mat You can take a vinyasa or just step right back into down dog. So vinyasa means to lower down, then do the back bend, and then stretch back. So if you're working on building upper body strength, you can keep adding those in. Otherwise, you can just stretch right back to the dog. Now look in between your hands. Step or hop to the front of your mat. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale to fold. Inhale to reach out. Exhale, Samastiti. Press down through your left foot as you bring your right knee up. Turn on the left outer hip. Raise your arms. Now bring your hands to prayer. Bend your left knee. See if you can tip from your pelvis and lean forward, and then lift the back leg behind you. Then step it back into crescent lunge. Press down through your left heel. Squeeze your outer hip. Now notice I have a little bend in the back knee, and this is helping me to lengthen out of my lower back, because if I try to straighten the leg right away, you can see the tension in the front of the hip just makes me hinge in my lumbar. So keep the length to your lower back, this little bent knee version. Then bring your left hand to your hip and twist. Bend your back knee again and feel that your lower back is long. Grow the back leg from the length of the lower back. Join the palms together. Breathe in and out through your nose. Place your hands back down on the mat. Step back into plank pose. Take a vinyasa or just go back into down dog. I'll go through the vinyasa this time with you in case you're adding it. Now from down dog, look forward again, step or hop to the top. Inhale into a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, Samastiti. Bring your hands behind your back to press your knuckles together. If you have very flexible wrists and shoulders, you could take reverse prayer. Otherwise, with the knuckles together, step your left foot back about 3.5 feet. And as you inhale, open up across your chest. Exhale, start to fold forward out over your leg. If the balance is too difficult with the hands behind your back, just put your hands down on a block in front of you. Hold the flat back for 2 more breaths, whether you're on the block or you have the hands behind your back. And then fold all the way forward out over your leg. Then come back up onto your fingertips now. So if you had the hands behind the back, you'll set them down, come up on the fingertips, or I recommend using the block for many. Bring your right hand to your outer right hip. Start to spin from your left side ribs, turn the back ribs down to the ground, turn the front ribs up, but push down into your right inner foot as you're twisting. Reach the back of the left shoulder down, push the right inner foot, turn the ribs. Breathe through your nose. And take your right arm up if you're steady once you're steady. If it feels like the balance is difficult, like you're on a tightrope, just shuffle the right foot to the right a little, left foot to the left some. Reconnect to your breath. Feel the sensations in your body. Notice where the sensation is too intense, where you're blocking the flow of breath or energy. Free up some movement there. Now, like a windmill, press into your feet and come up and around for the other side. And if you're using the block, you'll need to move that over. It's a good idea to have 2 blocks, one at the front, one at the back when you're doing these transitions. Fold forward out over your leg. Hold in the half position and truly get a flat back. So if I try to go a little too low for how tight my hamstrings are, you can see like this part pops up. So I'll just hold right here a little bit above that for my tight hips and hamstrings. 2 more breaths. And remember, that can be on a block or even hands on a chair. Hands on a chair would help for many. In fact, when I first started yoga, I was up on a chair for about the first 6 months. Now lengthen all the way into flexion. If it's hands on the chair, it'll just stay like that, maybe even pushing the chair forward if you're on the block, or hands could go to the floor for the very flexible. Now inhale into your flat back position, whatever is required for that. Bring your left hand, first we'll go to the ribs. Turn the rib cage, then hand to the hip, spin the back of the right shoulder down. Breathe. Notice where you're overdoing, notice where you're underdoing. Breathe in through your nose, breathe out through the nose. Press into your feet like a windmill. Come back up. Now parallel your feet and clasp your hands behind your back. So if you have tighter shoulders, you might want to use a strap. The little space will help you to open up the front of the shoulder head instead of it closing onto your chest. Whichever you have, strap or hands interlocked. Without projecting your rib cage forward, start to tip from your hips and fold forward in between your legs. Then press down into your feet and come up to stand. Turn your right leg out and step up to the top of your mat. Inhale your arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale into a flat back. Step back into downward dog or take a vinyasa. Set your knees down, then set your elbows down. So we're gonna come back to our pushing strength from the forearms. Balance your shoulder blades onto your back, spread them towards your elbows. Then from here, with your toes curled under, lift your knees up just an inch. Keep your rib cage in, keep your collarbones broad, spine long. Then start to lift your hips up. Press into your forearms. Reach from your armpits into your shoulders. See if you can pull your hips up higher and higher and higher. And then if you want to make it more of a challenge, staying stable in the shoulders, keeping the rib cage in, maybe you can bring your right knee up to your chest. If that's going well, then squeeze the heel towards the buttock and then try to lift the knee. Change legs, left knee, heel to buttock, squeeze up. Then set the feet back down, set the knees down. Then come into a kneeling position. And you might require a block to sit back. You might require a couple of blocks. You might require scaffolding. I don't know what type of situation you require. But from there, we'll lift the butt up a little so that the butt can move towards the backs of the knees. because remember, if the butt tips that way, it's too much on the lower back hinging. So a little bit of tuck of the butt, and then we'll roll the chest open, roll the shoulders open. Great shoulder stretch. You can turn the hands out a little bit, put a little micro bend in your elbows. And if you're more flexible, you might be able to walk back a little further, go onto your elbows, play with what stretch works best for you here. And then come back to an upright position. If it's too much on your knees to sit like this, so you can just sit cross-legged instead. Take your left hand behind your back from under, right arm from above, and here's where you might need your strap to get a little shoulder stretch. So as we're working on strengthening things, we also want to make sure that they stay flexible. So the health of your joint is going to be its ability to move through its full range of motion and be strong and controlled through those range of motion, as well as flexible, to move around through its full range of motion. So we want to keep it moving well as we strengthen, and we want to be able to stabilize as we move through our flexibility. Release and change sides. Left arm from above, right from below. Then release that. Move that stuff to the side and lie on your belly. So from your belly, either clasp the hands behind the back or use the strap or towel. Press the tops of the feet down, engage your legs, and then like you're pressing into the imaginary strap just below your chest, back bend the back from above that. Now squeeze your leg muscles, squeeze your glutes, and see if you can hover your feet up off the ground just an inch. Now stretch yourself longer. Pull through your crown, reach back to your toes. And then lower yourself down, rest one cheek. Then bend your knees, and for some, your feet will be right there. You can just grab a hold of your feet. For others, it's not going to be an option. So with knees bent, you'll hold the hands or the strap again and come back up as you squeeze your buttocks and squeeze your heels towards your butt. If you have the feet, you can just hold them and stretch in this position. You can stay low, or if you feel flexible enough in your upper back, you can start to lift the shins and draw up and back. Then lower yourself down, and now come into upward facing dog. So with the hands next to your side ribs, just start to roll yourself using your back strength up and away from the ground. Hold in that position as much as you move from your back strength. And as long as you don't have a history of lower back compression, then you might want to go into this upward facing. Now, if you have a lot of back issues and it feels like it's already crunching in there, you're just going to stay in this position and actually just work on decompressing, stretching your chest forward and your hips back. Otherwise, you might be able to try to straighten the arms and lift the legs up. And then stretch back. Come onto your hands and your knees. See if you can turn your hands around so your fingers point back and your thumbs point out to the side. Then turn your hands around. Lie down onto your back. Bring your legs up into tabletop position. Open your arms to the side. Squeeze your knees together. And without your left shoulder lifting, bring your knees towards your right elbow. Just go about halfway and then bring them back to center. Go over to the left, about halfway, back to center. And then we'll just go side to side here. Now, if you can feel that you can do it with control, you might be able to go a little bit further. When you want to come back, twist your belly to the opposite side like you're wringing out a towel in your middle. So as I take the knees to the right, I'll twist my belly to the left to come back to center. I'll draw it into the spine and then twist it back. Then hold the legs straight up. Now, depending on how tight your hip flexors, back of the legs are, or how weak the hip flexors and how tight the backs of the legs are, you might not be able to take the legs all the way up. Do what you can, and then slowly lower your right leg. So your top leg might look like this. Bent, lowered a bit, change legs. And keep alternating legs. And if the hamstrings are super tight, you can just work with the top knee completely bent like that. Now crunch up, hands behind your head as you continue to alternate legs. And then we'll add a little twist towards the up leg. Set your feet down. Open your arms to your side. Now take your feet the width of your mat and just let your knees swivel over to the left. To deepen the stretch here, you can cross your left ankle on the outside of your right knee, or you can just keep the feet as they are. Come back to center and let the knees go over to the right. Come back to center. Hug your knees to your chest. Roll yourself up to seated. That was the mat. Yeah, right. Okay, sit up tall in Dandasana. Then practicing your upright seat, bend your right knee off to the side like a tree pose leg. Turn to face your left leg, inhale. And exhale, start to walk your hands towards your foot. Inhale, come back up. Stretch your right leg out as you bend your left knee back. Inhale, sit tall. Exhale, start to fold forward. Now for many, the fold forward just might look like this. Working on pressing the hips down, breathing the whole spine long, instead of just slouching out over your leg. Press the front of the sit bones down like you're trying to push the butt back as you go forward. Inhale back up. Stretch both legs out. And raise your arms up. Now decompress your spine. Pretend like you're hanging from a bar or hanging from the ceiling. And as the spine decompresses, stretch the legs as long as you can. Don't let yourself sink here. Reach the sit bones down, grow taller through the pull of the arms. And then bring your arms down in front of you. Roll down onto your back for Shavasana. Let your palms turn up at your side and your feet fall open. Relax into your mat.